how long? Only TikTok knows. But we are now on TikTok, yeah. We are also, let me drop this now here, put this over here so I can see what's going on. Well, I can actually move this over here, no problem. How you doing, Angela?
Yay, I can see you.
We're live.
Check it out.
We're live.
Do you want to tilt a little so that you're not getting so much head room?
What's up, everybody? Who's that? Is anybody here? No one's here. Everyone's. That's it. They're through with us. They're done. They're like, you know what? Oh no, Mandy's here, and she says "Hola" because she's in Spain. And you know why she's in Spain? Because she's in Europe.
Because
you know
she
why
does.
She's in Europe because she's European.
Because she deserves it. That's
Hi,
why
Mandy.
she's in Spain.
It's so good to see you. Delicate is here. Yay! We're back on TikTok, by the way. So I don't know that we have anyone. Oh, we've got 3 people, but we'll see that they could just be passing through, as we know TikTok likes to do. Pardon me. Pardon me. Good to see you all.
We accidentally coordinated our clothes again today.
I was gonna make the joke that we got a stylist for the live, so you just took that joke away.
Yes, but Dale, nobody would believe that.
Well, it was a joke. No, we are. I didn't know you were wearing. People are like, they're COVID. They're still quarantined. How would they not know what the other person is wearing?
Delicate's asking if you lost your microphone.
Oh, what? Oh.
I literally did not have his microphone.
Hang on. Here it comes. What is going on? How did I screw this up so bad?
Turn it. Yep. There you go. There. Nope. Keep turning.
I'm coming, guys. How did I mess this up? Oh my god. I really screwed this up. I'll be right with you. Oh, I can't believe I did this.
You're not loosening anything. That's part of your problem. You're trying to move it without
No,
loosening anything.
That's not the problem. I can assure you that's not the problem. The problem is I don't know which way it goes.
This goes up.
Yeah, no, I have
Okay.
to go down.
Great. So twist it towards you. No. Yep.
And then do this?
No, Dale, you're doing it.
This is what I needed. Okay. Well, if that's not fucking embarrassing. Hello, everyone.
Okay, now you have to turn your
Welcome
mic,
to
though.
my very first... Oh, my God. All right, now I have to unplug my mic.
This is adorable.
What's up, TikTok? We're back.
Did you plug it back in?
I don't know if anyone on TikTok trusts me anymore. No, I didn't. You guys will be right with you. Go ahead and talk. Will you entertain them, please?
I think your pop screen needs to face you.
I'm working on it. Yeah, I know it's got to happen. I'm just getting through the process. Thanks for all of your kindness and your patience. So, like, this guy made a movie. This guy made a movie. Oh, I have so much to say once I get to say it. Okay. Am I live now, guys? Can you hear me? Hi is here. Oh my God.
Leo Edits is happy to see you.
Leo Edits is here.
OMG, Dale has returned.
Yeah,
on TikTok.
I'm back from doing time for a crime I didn't commit. That's right.
Mandy said, I know you're not a boomer, but it's giving boomer.
Well, you try running a podcast, Mandy.
Delicate said Dale is the key grip. Because remember you defined all the set work.
Well, if I'm the key grip, then I'm probably not the key grip. I'm probably key grip's PA, and I'm about to get fired.
Mandy says it's still not on.
What? It has to be.
And she also said it's adorable.
Oh my goodness. Can you hear Angela?
Can you guys hear me? I think that's a very good question.
Hello.
Leo Edits is asking if you went to jail.
If I went to jail. Yes,
Yeah.
I went to jail. I went to TikTok jail. It was such a scary, dark place where just don't know what's going to happen. I can hear you both now. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, I got a new arm today. This is what the problem was that I was telling you earlier. I was like, I got to get a new arm because I edit in the day. This is my work desk. I live at this and I live in this spot.
Yeah, and you can't be like straddling your microphone while you're trying to.
So I have to swing it out of the way, and today I swung it too far. Very flamboyantly, I might add. What's up, everybody? Sorry for the. I'm sweaty in the back of my neck now. Yeah, I'm not gonna take off
You got
my.
a little flustered.
Not really, I'm just.
I think you're sweaty in the back of your neck because we just had a hot curry.
No, Angela, listen to me. They eat it in Thailand.
I was giving Dale a hard time about making hot curries when it's like 90 degrees.
And I'm trying to explain to her that in Thailand, it's always 90 degrees, and they always eat hot food.
Mandy says it's all good now, guys.
I'm so glad. I'm sorry for the the madness of all of it.
Don't apologize. I thought it was adorable. I thought it was cute watching you scramble with equipment.
It made me feel bad.
They read, comedy writers will write scenes like that into movies. There's a whole scene in
If you guys could have actually seen, like, if Angela was like totally mean and she like flipped her camera and was like, "Watch Dale as he flusters."
I think they saw it.
Did they? No. Well, it's like maybe in the wide shot. Jeez. Oh, guys.
You're gonna make it.
I'm so happy to be here today. I've had an emotional day today, so we'll see what that means in terms of this live. But I have been craving coming on, so there's that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I forgot to post videos. I caught a bunch of videos and I didn't post them.
That's okay. You can post them tomorrow.
Leo Edits watched April Apocalypse and liked it. It's a sweet little movie, dude. Like, for real, that's a sweet little movie. It might be only like made of, like, it might be the most. It's like a ham sandwich with just ham and bread, but it's like for some reason the bread is perfect, the ham is perfect, and it just works.
Yeah, it's cute.
It doesn't have any.
Is it a zombie movie?
It's a zombie movie. Yeah, and I really loved that writer. I loved working with him. We developed this awesome screenplay set in New York called Koi, and it was this. I loved it. I worked on it for I worked on it for a better part of a year. Brent Tarnall, man, I really loved working with him, and I hope he is still finding his way into his craft and that he didn't give up, because he was talented, though, like so many others, including myself, he needs support. And I just hope he got it.
Alyssa's with us on YouTube.
Hi, Alyssa.
So Courtney,
I was thinking about you today.
Oh, yeah?
Alyssa in particular, yeah.
Oh, how come?
Because I was like, she came on and then I said, Alyssa, let me answer your question for you. And then earlier today, it just struck to me that maybe I was being rude. Just assuming she's asking a question because she's asked it before more than once.
Oh, I don't think anybody thought that was rude.
It was me who thought that.
I know, and I do that all the time too. I will I'll interrogate the things that I said. Ugh.
Exactly.
It's social anxiety, I think.
I have social anxiety.
Courtney and Maisie.
Good to be back,
here.
TikTok.
Hi guys, I finally made it to one of your lives.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So nice to have you here.
Courtney and Maisie, it's so good to see you. It's been a minute, for sure.
Daniela's with us. Dr. Susan's with us.
Dr. Susan, we are.
Mandy wants to know...
we're back on TikTok. It's I'm going to get emotional. I already am.
Mandy wants to know what kind of curry you had. Thai curries and Indian curries are my favorite foods.
We had, today we had a yellow curry.
Yellow Thai curry.
Yep, yellow Thai curry. Is there a yellow other curry? Do the Indians
There's probably a turmeric heavy Indian curry that's yellow.
Yeah, you're right. This was definitely Thai. And I got some gorgeous Thai basil at the Asian Mart down the street.
Oh, I love Thai basil.
And I thinly sliced that up there and put it on there. We had some. I also got these great organic limes from Trader Joe's. Man, one squeeze was just a perfect yield, man. You could just taste that.
You put the lime in the coconut?
Put the lime in the coconut. So we had that. It was so delicious. I really quite loved it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have a little. I have a
Ingrate.
No, I have a princess palate. I don't like spicy food. I like wasabi spicy, but I don't like chili spicy. And it's really difficult to get a, curry paste that's not. But it was delicious because I love Thai food.
And the veggies were al dente.
And it's just really awesome to have like, ethnic cuisine prepared at home wonderfully. Like, how fucking awesome is that?
We're going to get into it in a minute, but Angela was poking around and just kind of watching the Team Baldonians just kind of like milling about almost like as if they're walking into walls or like just like numb and stunned and unaware of what to think or do. None of it makes sense.
They are struggling.
But if they need to turn to anybody, they should turn to the great Andy Signor because he has an exclusive interview with Brian Friedman.
It's an exclusive statement.
Oh, he has an exclusive statement.
So for sure, Blake Lively's like, oh, that's good to know.
An exclusive statement.
Let me write this down and we'll subpoena Andy Signor for working closely on the smear campaign.
The Wayfair people. I'll put it this way. If Andy Signor is on their fucking payroll, honestly, I'm going to be like, not that he gives a shit because he definitely does not. But I will be so disappointed in that guy as a human being, like in every fucking level. Basically, I will not believe anything that comes out of his mouth, because he says to me stupid shit like some of the questions he's asking that are outrageous to me, and I'm like, why are you asking that question? And he's like, Dale, it's important that I'm impartial here.
Oh yeah.
He fucking said that to me.
Well,
he said that to me.
Here's the thing. So this, I kind of
didn't want to take my side because he has to make sure that he's.
Don't get upset.
Impartial. I am upset.
There's no point to get upset.
But it's superficial, bro. I'm going to sleep good tonight.
Okay, but listen.
It's like curry. The spice goes away. You know what I mean?
So, Andy Signor.
Yeah.
He has a channel where he's obviously being paid to generate content.
He's a shill.
Yes.
He's a fucking shill.
Okay, but so my point is.
He's a Baldoni shill.
How awesome is it that you got featured on his podcast? And you didn't have to pay him, and you didn't have to have a publicist to organize it all.
Yeah, I sold a bunch of books too, man. Like his audience, they bought.
So isn't that a nice?
What the fuck is he doing? Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get my Horizon line, because you mean that much to me.
So isn't that nice? That you got a freebie?
Yeah.
From a guy who's a paid shill. He's
a paid fucking shill, exactly. I got what Baldoni couldn't get. Well, that's not true because he's such a fucking. He's just like such a star fucker, but he is when he look.
Dude, that's the business though.
Yeah.
That's the thing is if you can get paid to post content, you do.
Yeah.
It's hard out there, bro. That guy's a
You're
parent.
telling me. You're fucking telling me who's like.
He's a parent.
Check the bank account.
He's got kids to raise.
I checked the bank account today to see if we were going to make rent. I was like, well, I don't know. We may or may not make rent. So today, Angela read to me an article in the Vanity Fair about Pedro Pascal, and it got me so emotional. So emotional, like holy fucking shit.
What kind of emotions?
Well, there was a bunch of emotions. Like he went through a lot, and I said this once before on the live, but he went through a lot in terms of just getting to where he was. I'm not talking about his mother taking her life, which was. I was there for it. I drove him to the airport to go back to Santiago to be with his family the day of. So there was that, and it was like that night was such a heavy night. It was an indescribably heavy night. Much of what the Vanity Fair writer, whose name unfortunately I don't have at the tip of my tongue, I wish I did because I thought her article was beautifully written.
Yeah.
Much of the Pedro Pascal in that article, in terms of the spirit of the man, that's the spirit that I knew so well. And that night driving to the airport, it was nothing like that. It was the heaviest, darkest, saddest. And I wondered to myself if he would recover from it. And then the other part of the emotion. So there was that, right? And that was heavy. And the way he spoke of it, this is the first time I've ever talked about it publicly. I have never ever talked about, being with him that night, driving him to the airport.
Yeah, because it's not your story to tell.
Fuck no.
But but it's just now been published in
Well, where I'm
Vanity
going
Fair.
is
So
I'm speaking about it not just because he spoke about it in Vanity Fair, because I knew that he had talked about it before, but it was the spirit of the way in which he spoke about it. Like, he spoke about it in a way that made me feel comfortable, probably comfortable with it the first time since it happened. You know what I mean? Like, as a thought. Obviously, it's not something I've lived with, right? But as a thought goes, as a memory goes, a memory was always extremely dark and always extremely painful. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I remember wondering if he would recover. And we remained friends for many years after his mother passed. When he moved back to New York, Angela, my ex, she repped him, and he would come over to the house in Jersey, and we hung out for years. I actually wrote a scene in I Am Loving You. If you remember the scene in I Am Loving You, where the Prince concert scene?
yeah.
That's based on her and Pedro going. And I paid for it because, Pedro was flat broke, So if you're out there, bro, I know Prince is dead, but I wouldn't mind seeing, Taylor Swift or something like that. It was beautiful to see him, or to hear him in such a beautiful energy and light. He spoke about his dog Greta, whom I have vague memories of, but I remember Greta. And but also just that he's living this life. He's got this great life, man, and it was not like that for him forever. And I love that he was able to touch on him being in his 30s and not being anywhere in the business, but still believing it somewhere.
I wonder how great it is, because the guy is so busy. So busy.
He loves it. You can hear it in the article, and look, he's busy doing what he loves. This is all he's ever wanted to be and do his entire life.
His whole day is booked, constantly being
he loves it. It's all booked, and it's all on him. And you know what? He loves the attention because he's really good at absorbing it and distributing it back. He's really great at that. He's a master of it. He's a sponge. He's a sponge for the environment around him. I don't think he's changed one bit after reading that article. He is the exact same dude that I fell in love with the minute I met him. And I met him after Artie Rob's mother, Edie Robb, signed him. And she sent his tape to us in LA for us to look at because of, we're filmmakers, right? Don's Plum, etc. So it was this short film that he made in New York. And I was crazy about him, dude. I couldn't stop thinking about him. I wrote Roman and Leela behind me. I wrote it for him. I'm not going to pull it out. I wrote it for him. He was going to be the lead. He was a dream as far as an actor goes. And then when I met him as a person, yeah. What sucks is that my life got curated by my ex. She had all of our photographs and everything. And when I left, I basically filled my car with whatever I could fit that was important. None of it photographs. And out the door I went. And while there was a bunch of photographs of all of us together, I probably have some on my PlayStation, actually. So while there was a bunch of them there was this one photograph that I loved of Pedro. And it's going to sound a little bit weird, but I'm standing like Superman or like a superhero. I have my fists on my waist, with my chest puffed out, my legs kind of spread out, and shoulder length.
The power stance.
And behind me is Pedro, and Angela got perfect angle. She was a pretty good photographer, actually, but she got this perfect angle of him mocking, just kicking me in the ass, or in the balls from behind. It's such a cool photo because he's his face is he looks just like he's like it's a riot, and I'm as stoic as granite.
Fucking theater kids.
It was great, but I loved the picture so much, and so my ex, whom I have very little love or respect for, frankly, I said to her, please send me that photo. Just let me have that photo. Give me that memory, Let me have that fucking memory, please. And I think that was a part of my sadness when you read the article, was that memory. I don't have that memory. I can't show you that photograph. I can't look at that photograph and remember
when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Well, I didn't mean to make you sad.
You didn't,
So
but
sorry.
the article is really inspiring. I highly recommend you guys read it. It's in Vanity Fair. I don't know when it dropped, probably today. I have a couple of comments about it, actually. And there's some hope that, I wonder if he'll ever, it's so weird. Like, I guess I could hit him up on Facebook. I mean, we're still friends on Facebook. So I could probably hit him up on Facebook, but I don't think I want to do that. I don't think that's, he's all famous and shit and be like, hey, Pedro, it's Dale from your past. How is it going? You know what I mean? Like there was this moment where I felt somebody else's embarrassment. I had a family member who won the lottery. They won $2 million. So not a big giant lottery win, but certainly life-changing, right? So she wins $2 million. And then I had another relative who hadn't spoke to her in 20 years. Like this is my cousin. I haven't spoke to her in 20, 25 years. I forgot her name, to be truthful. I forgot her name. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I have a cousin named Tammy. And now she's a millionaire. Good for her. But this other family member of ours hadn't spoke to her in 20 years. Fucking literally like gets her email address from her dad and then emails her, hey, how's it going? And her response was, I am not sending money to anybody. Thank you for reaching out. But I was like, when the person told me that they did it, I was like, ew.
Yeah.
Dude. That's just filthy,
If
man.
you don't have a relationship with them,
20
it's
years.
so transparent what you're doing.
20 years, you're like, hey, heard about your good fortune. Just wanted to say congratulations. I don't want nothing. That's
I mean, is it wrong to just send a congratulations and say you don't want anything? Like,
to somebody you haven't spoken to in 20 years?
Yeah,
it
yeah.
seems a little obvious
no, like
to me.
if you're saying I don't want anything,
It
I'm not
seems-
asking for anything.
First of all, they don't
I'm
need
just
your.
wishing
They're not. Who needs it? You're sitting there waiting by the phone.
I know.
I'm waiting by the phone for that person I haven't talked to in 20 years to tell me how happy they are for my good fortune.
It's true.
It's transparent as fuck.
It's really funny. Hey, I just thought out of the blue I'd make friends with you in particular.
I heard you won $2 million. I know we haven't spoken in 20 years because what did we have to talk about except now we have your money?
Yeah, that's right. Mandy said that Starfucker is one of my all-time favorite phrases.
Yeah. It makes an appearance in my book, and I'm proud to say it's there.
Guilty Angel said, Dale, we love and support you.
That is very kind of you to say.
So sweet.
I look so forward to being here every day. You have no idea. I work very hard on it. You wouldn't believe. And I say you wouldn't believe because I think sometimes I show up and you guys are like, yeah, say it. Get it out. You're stuttering, you're humming, you're hawing. I'm cutting my footage now, and I'm like, Jesus, Dale, get it out of your fucking mouth.
Oh, I know. That's the worst when you start editing video of you talking and then you can't ever speak an authentic sentence
Dude,
again.
When I cut my performance in Don's Plum, it was the most horrific time of my life, I think. Creatively,
Yeah, because
it was
you didn't even like how you did
it
at
was
the time.
Hell. It was hell. Well, also, I actually am bad in the movie. Like, the cut is good, and I have a couple good moments in the movie. But my overall performance is a D, like straight up objective D. What you guys don't see because it's unwatchable is the close up that we shot of me. You don't want to see the close up of me at all.
Were you just breaking character?
It's just like, look at this poor confused fuck. Like, it is so bad. I'm not even all that ashamed about it because it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, nobody has to see it.
It was mortifying for me. Oh my God. That's why in the book, Leo comes and consoles me because I was literally like despondent after I had such a bad go of it because I was not prepared for Ethan to throw the scene off and I got lost. Well, and Leo when he said I can see your pubes.
That's such a great thing to throw out there.
Yeah,
Alyssa said, this is very sweet, Dale.
Okay.
Dale, hearing all these stories about you with celebs just makes me feel like you were meant to be in Hollywood, like it was fate. And it just makes it that much sadder that your friends took that from you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that was a lot of the pain today. Was I miss that more than I can express, really. So It's a lot of heartbreak there for sure. But I'm so happy and proud of Pedro, because what's so wonderful and evident in what comes through in that article is that he hasn't changed, you know. And I dropped out of Facebook, and that was where I had whatever little interaction with him that I did. It was on Facebook. I think he's an Insta guy now, but and that made me long for those relationships, even if they weren't like, you know, like, I mean, Pedro and I weren't. I don't want to misrepresent us. We weren't joined at the hip. He was just a friend, you know, that would come over to the house and that I'd cook for him, and we watched the award shows together, and we had our nights, you know. He certainly had closer friends, including my wife, my ex-wife. So anyway, I long for, that was very kind of you to say, and yeah, it got me a little emotional. Sorry, I had to pull myself together. But yeah, you know, I missed that. I missed that creative energy. I missed that like sharing, and fuck yeah, bro. It was a really rough article. Like, I'm really fucked up over it. I really am. It really, first of all, like when he talked about flying to Santiago, and then like just remembering that night and just going through that in my head, which I really haven't like sat back and thought about that night again, you know. It's crossed my mind, but I've never like put myself in that car, you know. Yeah. Looking at him in the rearview mirror and just being like,
I know how awful that it was.
Maybe he was in the passenger seat. Actually.
That it was so traumatizing for you. You know, obviously dealing.
It wasn't traumatizing for me. That's not. I don't want to represent it that way. It was something I could never forget because of how dark and heavy it was. Right. Like, I'd never been in that position before. I'd never been in a position. So you know how you sometimes remember things that you did and you regret them. I didn't know what to say to the guy.
Yeah, nobody ever knows what to say to somebody in grief. Nobody ever knows.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people who experience grief, you know, where a loved one close to them dies, and they it ends up being very isolating, because what people do when they don't know what to say is they don't say anything.
I just didn't know. Yeah, you don't know how to. But that's what the whole thing felt like. And honestly, I felt like after that night, I didn't know how to talk about. I didn't know his level of damage. I didn't know how to. It was like it took months to figure out what to even say to him.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw him, like, you're like, oh, you know, like, hey, what's up? Like, I would usually see him and hug him and say, how you doing? What's up? How are you? And all of those words couldn't come out of my mouth. Like, none of those words could come out of my fucking mouth.
Yeah, you're like, the answer's not going to be good.
So it's like, what's up? And then you're like, fuck, you know, what do I say? What do I say?
How's the morning going?
Anyway, Pedro Pascal, man, what a fucking... He's one of the best actors I ever met. He's an even better dude. All right, next.
Leo Edis wants to know, if all of the P Posse members had a fight to the death, who would win?
Well, do I get to fight?
Leo Edis, you have to answer whether Dale gets to fight. Okay, so if you're in, or if you're excluded.
I mean, they didn't get that title until I was gone.
Yeah.
Back then we were just called friends.
Okay, but that's not the question.
Well, I'm asking if I get to participate. That's the question.
Who would survive in a fight to the death?
I can't answer unless I'm participating. If I'm participating, it's me.
And if you're not?
Well, again, I have to know who's participating. Because the posse is like... Then RD's not a part of it. If I'm not a part of it, then RD's not a part of it. So, because RD, he's the kind of guy who like just cut everybody's like Achilles. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, zip, 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 everybody just starts falling, and there he is like pulling on his lip. You know.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
How do you think Scott would do?
How do I think Scott would do?
Yeah.
How do I think Scott would do?
Like, what would be his weapon of choice?
He would do okay for a minute. He would think he was gonna be like, there was this. Who was the guy who there was like an action star that wasn't really an action star in the 80s. He did this. Fuck, I'm trying to remember. There was like he did a dragon movie. I think I'll never forget it. I'll never remember his name. But anyway, he's kind of got like a bit of like. He's a bit of an imposter, really. As it was, especially as far you remember in.
Cosmic Origins.
Do
you mean Steven Seagal?
Huh?
Do you mean Steven Seagal?
Why would I say Steven Seagal?
Because he's kind of like an imposter. He's like, he like walks around like he's like the king of the dojo now, and he's
Yeah.
like,
He's not even a good martial
he's
artist.
like fat and
He was never a good martial
reflective
artist.
shades.
He's like a good martial artist, like Twisted Sister is a good band.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
We're off topic.
Hey, listen, we got
Okay,
the
so
wheels
you
for
don't want to answer the question, is what I'm getting.
it. What's the question again?
If all the Pea Posse had to fight to the death, who would win?
Oh. Okay, well, I don't know who is included, but if assuming everybody's included, who would man, dude. Shit. Well, if I'm there, I win. I think I could take them all out viciously. Especially now cuz I'm angry at them. So, like, if it's now, like, I take them out and I do things that I'll never forget, like eat their hearts. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how like the hunters, they like take out the heart and they're like,
Yeah.
I would do that.
I could see that.
Be like Carrie, but instead of it pouring on me, I caused it all. Mm-hmm. No, I kid. I would never. I think I would win if it was me, though. I'm not kidding. Possibly.
If it wasn't
none
you.
of those guys are tough. Like,
If you weren't, listen,
Connolly, maybe.
because he'd bite.
He's tough. He's tough. He's a pesky dude.
But he doesn't like to get dirty, right?
What do you mean by dirty?
He'd be like, ew, blood.
Oh yeah. Well, no. He's scrappy.
That's funny.
He thinks he's tough, and he's probably tough. I still think I would absolutely totally destroy him. His trachea is not safe around me.
That's a good one. I feel like that's a good tactic in all fights.
Trachea?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Especially if you're
Make
wily and
their
tough.
trachea not safe around you.
That's right. That's for sure my spot. Like, because I fucked that up and it's a wrap. You got to go figure it out. I get to go home. Eat some good Thai food. With lime. Thai basil.
Glow with Amber says, feeling the emotions today? I don't think I've ever heard you swear so much. And it's because you're no longer on TikTok, but you're back on TikTok.
I'm back on TikTok. Yeah.
So
really? Who said this?
Glow with Amber. We were trying to...
Am I cursing too much? I'll calm down.
I think you're probably just cursing more than you were when you're trying to stay on TikTok. But after
I will warn you that I am the son of a trucker.
TikTok bounced you, and so now we have sworn off our allegiance to TikTok.
By the way, I did prepare those scenes for the book club. So if you've read Too Real and you want to read the outtake scenes, just go to toorealbook.com, go to the contact form, say, "Hey, it's me. I read your book. Send me the scenes, and I'll send them to you."
Bonus materials.
I'll send you 3 fun. I'm sorry, that was not emotions. That was gas. 3 fun scenes to read.
Tanner's with us on TikTok.
Tanner, how are you?
Tanner said, my grandfather came home.
Oh, I'm so glad. I meant to text you today and I didn't.
And Tanner was at his mom's nursing graduation today.
Oh, wonderful, man. Congratulations to your mother. That's so awesome.
I know. I'm so glad everything is better.
God, that's so great.
Um,
That was funny to hear that Pedro was thinking about becoming a nurse. Or a nurse's assistant or something.
And
he'd be great at it.
And his sister was like, no.
Yeah, his sister,
Too
who goes
talented.
by Balmaceda, which I'm was surprised to hear. I thought they all changed to Pascal.
Crazy GMA said, I love how vulnerable you allow yourself to show us you are.
Well, it's unintentional. It's completely unintentional. It's unintentional. I'll say. You know what? I'm a battered dude. I am, and I don't think I can hide that anymore. And I also don't want to. I don't see the reason for it. I got my ass kicked really bad, and sometimes it shows up. I also have like a lot of heartache about guys like this. I'm so happy for Pedro Pascal. I'm not gonna lie. His success makes me feel like a certain amount of longing, that could be confused for envy.
Listen, I think this is really, really common. Anytime anybody succeeds in Hollywood and you hear about it, somebody that you know, you're gonna feel that. I think that any like career where people are ambitious, that's just gonna happen. Imagine you go to college in business or something, and you hear that your dorm roommate or something succeeded, and you're like, oh, well, we were in the same place then. How come we're not in the same place now? I think that's super common.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't think that envy is helpful. I don't think that
it's not. I dispose of it as soon as it comes. I transform it, but it still shows up. I'm still vulnerable to it. I understand it though from a perspective. Like I understand the perspective of it, meaning like that envy is a certain feeling of, it's a certain a feeling of it's really like a self-degrading action. Do you know what I mean? It's really self-degradation more than it's anything else. That's what envy is. Envy is more about, and I recognize that as a vulnerability in myself, and that it's something I have to work on whenever it arises, even if it is only feathered into an even better or bigger and possibly more pure kind of an emotion. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny that you say feathered in, because I was thinking, and we're kind of telepathic sometimes. I was thinking that
it's true.
What you were saying sounds like being envious sort of clips your wings. Because it sort of like restricts your possibilities. Now all you're thinking about is the possibilities that led to that person's success, and not the possibilities that could lead to your success in any of the other ways you could go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're concentrating on what didn't happen or what you don't have. And I've done enough of that. Like I've done enough of that. I've done motherfucking mountains of that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better. I've done mountains of this stuff, right? Where I'm just like feeling the pain, and so yeah, it's unhealthy, to say the least. And I do a good job at dealing with it and wrestling it all the way back. I've always seen it as a weakness and a substantial weakness at that. I've always feared envy.
What you got to do.
But the older I get and the more tired I get, it seems the more vulnerable I am to even feeling that.
Yeah.
Do you know?
You got to try what I do.
What?
Which helps. Is
Tell
to
me.
have no ambition whatsoever.
Yeah, that's
so then
the
you
perfect
see
solution.
people succeed and you're like, good for them.
Oh, it's so good to be back on TikTok. I talked a lot of shit about you, TikTok, while I was gone.
Well, not the people that are...
No, TikTok. I talked about TikTok.
Yeah, the app for being...
No, I missed my friends. I couldn't tell. I wasn't there. We couldn't be together for the Karen Reed,
Delicate
acquittal?
is asking a question. That's very good.
Bring it on, Delicate.
Dale, do
Yes.
you think doing these lives every day and talking about your experience in a safe space is helping you to recover from the past?
I wonder. I don't know. We'll see. I all I know is that I'm compelled to do it. So, and it's obviously not for the money, It's so interesting because like I was going a different direction totally, right? If you go and look at my TikTok content, it was all slideshows. And I didn't want to put my face out there whatsoever. And then I started doing these lives because it was like, if you want to promote your slideshows, go do lives. I was like, okay, I will. And I also had I had a few of them blow up. Like we had that one that went, got like 3.5 million views or something. A couple that had a few 100,000 views. So we went viral a couple times. And so I'd missed like most of them. And I was like, well, we should be live to try to capture an audience and promote the book. And then it actually had the opposite effect on the book. The book took a dive in sales and hasn't yet recovered. And yet I keep doing this. So I don't know what this is for. I'm experiencing this like camaraderie with you guys, which is really cool. It's also like facilitated something that I need. I do. I'm not going to lie, but it's facilitated an opportunity for people to drop by and say they loved the book. And that is like, that's like a cup of coffee in the morning for me, man.
It's
like,
great.
It gets me going. It keeps me going. It gives me, I can't express this enough because I know this to be true for many artists. It could be true for all artists, but we absolutely go through so many different phases of loathing our work, finished and unfinished. And so that's why we seek that external approval, you know? Because it's like, fuck, I want to know that it works. I want to know that people are being moved by it. And so anyway, so I don't know. We'll see what this ends up being, but that's a really great question. I'm not sure what's going to end up happening in the end of this. You know, I know this, that I'm creatively stimulated in a totally different way than I've ever been, and that stimulation is happening, is sort of firing like creative, elements or areas of my brain. Is it synapses?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's firing like the creative synapses, and it's like, but it's also firing this other side that I can't even quite describe yet. And I don't know what's going to come of it, but I'm attracted to it. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what I'm doing. What the fuck am I doing? I don't even know. I was having an existential crisis about it all day. It's so weird that Delicate brings this up. I'm telling you, you know how close our charts are, right? Like we're like twins astrologically.
Yeah.
And so she's feeling it, because I had a whole existential crisis after you read the article. I was like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing?
God, I didn't mean to put you in a tailspin, bro.
Pedro was talking about being protected. He was talking about going to be a nurse or whatever, and there was an intervention, No, the fuck you're not. You're this kind of talent. And let me tell you, like, people are experiencing Pedro now. Pedro has been brilliant since he was a teenager. Like, since he was a fucking teenager. When I met that dude, he's 5 years my junior, right? I think I met him when I was 25. So I either met him when he was 20 or 21 years old. That's
he said that when he had to take that flight to Santiago that you drove him to,
yes,
that he was 24 years old.
Right. I'd known him for years at that point, though. Yeah. I mean, we'd been friends for years. So I probably met him at 21 is when I probably first met him. When I first met him, he was living in New York. Then he moved to LA because he would come to LA for some meetings. Then he moved to LA, and then he moved back to New York after his mom passed. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to figure it out as we go. And I enjoy the people I meet, and I am inspired by them. I'm inspired by you. Stefan, I don't think he's here tonight, but he's there's something inspiring about that guy. Cosmic Urgency is like a character I'm going to write someday. Whatever it is that I interpret this man to be, my interpretation of him, my perception of him, but he has a dryness that I savor, quite frankly. So and Mandy and Leo edits, all of them, Nadine, everybody, you guys are all just
I'm a little behind on this comment section. Do you want to get back?
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about still. Shit.
Yeah. Mandy said, as a midwife, we do so much grief training. And the number one thing is that you have one chance to get it right, which means in the moment, don't be scared because you don't know what to say.
Well, that's the regret I have. And that's the regret I had the minute that he got out of the car.
Alyssa said, yes, I'm a resident pediatric surgeon. And that's the hardest part of the job. And one that I'll never get used to is how to tell people that the surgery failed or that there's no other option. That's heavy. That's
so heavy, and like now imagine doing that like with the person that you care for, right? It's beyond this. Like I'm not saying you don't care for your patients, you know what I mean. I'm talking about like, that, a family member, a very close friend versus like a patient. Which, I'm not trying to diminish patients. Absolutely, I know how important they are and how much they mean to you guys, and I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that's the toughest stuff.
And then people were commenting about the question about who would win in a fight to the death.
Yeah, let's hear it. Not fucking Leo. If you think it's Leo,
well,
then...
Alyssa said that Leo's weapon would be peroxide farts. Mandy said that Toby's would be snot.
Or he would just do shocking things like, show you his junk.
Ugh. Yeah, like distract you.
Just whip out your junk and be like, hey, and then you'd be like, oh, and then he'll strike you with a pipe.
Disgusting.
Oh, now I'm going to get banned for hate speech.
What, bro? Seriously, who cares anymore?
I like the guys on TikTok, man.
I know, I do too, but if TikTok won't have us the way that we want to talk, then I guess it can't work.
We almost have 10,000 likes, man. They missed us.
Hi is asking.
Yes, hi.
Does it annoy you that some people still support Leo?
I think it's hi, by the way.
That's right. Does it annoy you that some people still support Leo after hearing your story?
Well, I don't know that it annoys me that people support Leo. What annoys me is that Leo is so successful at stopping people from supporting me. I don't mind that people support Leo. You know, it is what it is. But I do wish I could catch a break. And, you know, the book is struggling to stay afloat. And it's just difficult. And it's like, I don't know what to do, you know? And I know the book is good enough. Like, it's a worthy read. So I just have to be patient, I think, and consistent. I'm on a path. I don't know what this path is. I don't know what it is. I don't know where I'm going. I have no idea. I'm blind. I'm fucking blind. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've never known what... I've been wandering with my eyes closed for 30 fucking years. I don't know what I'm doing. But for the first time in 30 years at least, I'm standing up for myself. For the first time in 30 years, people are hearing my story, not filtered by the New York Post, not filtered by Vanity Fair, not filtered by Leo and their fucking publicists. I'm telling you from my lips to your ears. And so there is something transformative and something spine straightening with all of that, for sure. You wouldn't know it by the actual slouch.
Cosmic Urgency said, fear is the power of the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
It's just perfectly said. I think that's it. I think that's in what's the Gautama book? I read it.
Which one?
Buddha Gautama.
Buddha Gautama.
Yeah,
Deep cuts.
The Buddha, but like there's a Gautama book. Like I forget what it's called. What the fuck?
You're talking to me like I just said something. I'm completely ignorant.
No, I know, but
so
you
responded to me as if I was like challenging you or something.
No,
and I was just like sounding out the words like a baby.
Gautama.
Mandy said we're getting deep tonight, and I love it. Guilty Angel said, cosmically something is happening.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. I do. I feel like that's true. I don't know what it is. I want to survive it, and I feel like it's good. I feel like most of it is good. Listen, honestly, like I came out with an open letter in 2014, and it was dead for the first year, and then after the first year, it just blew the fuck up, and went on a ride. And the book has gotten far more activity. Like when I say the book is slow, you know, I just did a book club on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good.
You know, where every day people are reading, every day people are buying the book. Well, not every day people are buying the book, but almost every day people are buying the book. So it's not like the book isn't selling. It's just really slow.
Is your sound cutting out?
Are people experiencing that?
Just Guilty Angel.
I was feeling very.
Oh yeah, Mandy said too. Yeah, guys, the sound is cutting out a lot.
Why?
I don't know either. Did you move your mic?
I don't know.
Because you just plugged it in, so maybe the plug is weird.
Well, all my gear says everything's working.
Maybe it's better. Cosmic Urgency said the sound is fine for me.
Well, I suppose, hopefully, I'm sorry, is all I can say, and I'll tweak it. I guess I messed something up today. I don't know what the fuck I did. Where was I?
Oh, we were just going through these comments about something. Guilty Angel said, I've been experiencing some strange cosmic stuff. Cosmically, something is happening, and that's what we were talking about. They say that if you feel like directionless, right? Like you don't know what it is that you want to do, you could look at your astrology chart, and sometimes there's some hints there. And I think Jupiter is supposed to indicate where gifts are trying to come through for you.
Yeah.
Like what area of your life if you focus on.
Jupes, as I call it.
Yeah. So for instance, like Justin Baldoni, right? He keeps failing up, right? Like he screws up and he gets more famous, right? Like
so weird.
He doesn't get.
That's Leo too. Leo, everything was up for him.
He lost his job on the show that he was doing, and he ends up like basically just
50 million views,
rolling downhill straight into a feature film career, like directing
and starring, and phenomenal success stories, both
Right.
of them.
Worked with the studio on his like third
It's
film.
so wild.
Okay. So Justin Baldoni has Jupiter in his fifth house. His fifth house of creative expression and joy and playfulness, creativity, right? So
Yeah.
the more that he creates, the more he's going to get connected to people who are supportive and wealthy and helping him. He's going to encounter helpful people all the time. That's where his good luck can be found. So it makes sense, right?
Yes.
Your Jupiter is in your first house,
Yes.
which means that you're
Ruler of my fifth.
yes. So it means like you're like physically protected, which is wonderful for me to know as your partner. But also, the first house also is like the place where it's your identity, it's your sense of self. Your self-esteem is in the second house, but your self, your personhood is in the first house. So if you put that out there, maybe that's how Jupiter can bring gifts through into your life.
Yeah, maybe.
Mine
That's
is in
very
my
interesting.
third, so I'm supposed to
Oh,
talk.
thanks.
I'm supposed to talk and think, is what I'm
Well,
reading.
you're good at both
from
of
that.
those things. Think about talking.
We'll see what happens.
Think about drinking. Oh, that's a song. That's a song. I'm stealing those lyrics. I guess we should get to. By the way, the founding guitarist of Bad Company, Mick Ralphs, has passed on to Planet Music. He has transcended
really?
into Planet Music. He is up there now with all the rest of the greats. But yeah, didn't they just get inducted?
Bad Company?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Anyway, I thought that was kind of sad. I guess in part because it's like, oh man, my childhood, like when I was a kid and Bad Company was like the shit, you know?
Yeah, they're awesome.
In the 80s, I was like, man.
How old was he?
81. So thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's 84, bro, and he's mowing lawns. Push mowers.
Some people just never stop.
The guy's a tank, bro.
Thank you.
He's like a little, one of the, those little tanks
Yeah.
that can like move real fast. He's just made of metal or something. It's fucking crazy. The guy almost died 4 times this year, and he's mowing lawns at 84. I call him. He's like, "What's up, kid?" I'm like, why won't you die?
You know, people will have those like near-death experiences, and they'll say that like the entity that they encounter on the other side will tell them that your work isn't done, and they send them back. But in your dad's case, it was literally his work, like
Yeah.
literal work, like labor.
Yeah,
You still have more toiling to do, kid. Go back.
for real. Some more things about Pedro Pascal. So he called out J.K. Rowling
Yes.
as heinous loser behavior over her anti-trans law. Bullies make me fucking sick, is what he said. So I honestly, like, it gives me hope. Because he doesn't know, man. Nobody did. Like, this book nobody knows this story the way that that it was told in that book. Nobody except me and Toby. And now all of you who've read it, and any who will bother to do so. Those are the only people who are going to know what that night was. And I think that, Pedro, by the way, knows me. He knows RD. He knows Edie. He knows Angela, who's in the book. Like, he knows a bunch of people in the book. So, or knew, at least. Who knows? Maybe he reads it and, gives me a call and says, help me write my dialogue. Here's $17 million and a boat. And I'll be like, I don't want the boat, dude. And he'll be like, are you sure?
He's like, I have all this money. I don't even know what to do with it.
Honestly, it falls out
Do
of
you
my
want it?
pockets. It like falls out of my pockets and I don't even bother. Like I sit down and it just falls out and I'm like,
Ugh.
Whatever. Is it littering if it's money?
Listen, I have things I want to talk about tonight.
Last thing is that Robert Downey Jr. says that Pedro Pascal's rise to fame reaffirms his faith in the industry. And I'm not sure why.
Because
Does it seem like a weird, because he's such a good guy?
because he turned 50. And he's a star.
Oh, because he was elderly.
Yeah.
He was in his 40s when he hit.
He had a rise to fame in his 40s.
In his 40s, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's nice to know that can happen. You know, there's
Yeah, I mean,
usually
for
that
40-year-olds.
usually that happens with like character actors. Or like there's a bunch of stories in like horror movies where some old lady just decided like, you know, she had like a empty nest syndrome, you know, she like didn't have anything to do. She like, you know, her husband, she's a widow or something. And she's like, you know what? I think I'm going to start auditioning for movies. It just seems like something fun to do. And she's like in every movie as like a creepy old lady.
Yeah. There's all those stories. Harrison Ford, 30s, whatever.
Oh yeah. Harrison Ford was like a carpenter or
He was
something,
a carpenter,
right?
yeah. And then he was like, man, people think I'm hot. I'm going to go do this. People are like, you're a carpenter? Honey, you need to come to my house.
I know. And he lands Star Wars. It's
Like,
crazy.
Absolutely nothing is broken in this house and you don't need another addition. You don't have any more land. Another thing that was said about Pedro Pascal that I think is attributed to Spike Jonze is that he thinks that why people are so in love with Pedro is because he is the masculinity that people crave. He is more of what we want to see in masculinity, male masculinity.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. What I loved about the Variety article was that she talked about how she immediately felt safe in his presence. And I think that's about the most beautiful thing you could say about somebody, especially a man.
Yep.
A strange man, for that matter.
I don't know why that's not the goal. You know,
It
there's
is,
all these
for
dudes
me.
who are like, you know, trying to work on their self-improvement and like getting like shoved down the like alt-right or like, you know, alpha male,
Yeah.
you know, pipeline.
Bro,
And why aren't they focusing instead on being like a safe place for people to hang out in? You know, like a
Totally.
comforting, masculine.
it's easy to fuck up though. Like after my wife and I split up. I'm sorry. It's an easy thing to fuck up though, because like after my wife and I had split up, I was like out and I was trying to hit on this girl, whatever. Like we were out at a pizza joint or whatever, and we're with a bunch of people, and I put my hand on her knee, bro, and dude, she froze in the worst possible way, and I relive that moment far too often. It makes
Okay,
me.
but what does that have to do with what we were talking
Well,
about?
because it's like I want people to feel safe. Like I want to be that guy, but it's really easy to just mess that up and
Oh
be
yeah,
like,
well the first thing that you do to be that guy is not put your hand on somebody's leg.
I fucked up.
That's like
It was horrible.
That's like
it was
the
the
first-
worst mistake.
it's an easy one to screw up, I guess.
But it is really because it was like I was like back in school, like I didn't know I was married for 13 years.
That's why.
I was just like I didn't know what to do, so I was like, I guess I'll let her know by touching her. No.
No.
Damn it.
I mean, it is a little weird to freeze up if somebody just puts their hand like. I mean, it depends on where you touched her, but if you were like down by the knee, it's a
Oh no,
little
it was
weird.
the knee. It was not by the knee. I wasn't even in near no thigh.
She was like,
I was just like I gave her a little touchy touch. It was stupid. We were drinking. I was like it was touchy feely drinking night or whatever. Oh God! But she didn't feel safe. Like 100% in that moment, she didn't feel safe, and it kind of haunts me because I was like, God, so stupid.
it was probably an overreaction. I don't think.
On my part?
No, on her part.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she could have just been like, "What is that?"
It was
you know?
her reaction was like, wow.
What are you doing?
I'm that bad? What am I? I'm like,
Oh, I know.
it was a little weird.
Yeah, that probably has more to do with her than it does about
I
you.
resent her and now I resent all women.
That's how it goes, right?
For some guys. That's what I think happened to, this is what I, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only, believe happened to Andy Signor. I think he got accused. He thinks it was wrongfully so. And I think he's now angry at all women secretly or subconsciously.
It's kind of sad.
It's weird. I brought this up before. I think that it's a thing with men. It happens with women too, because what's her name that Charlize Theron played. She had this thing where all men were this thing.
Eileen Wuornos.
Eileen, yeah. She had a thing with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of people think that she wasn't that she was the victim and not the attacker, but it doesn't really line up.
Well, at what point does the victim become the attacker?
Yeah, I mean, she was saying that she was defending herself the whole time.
Through all of the men.
Yeah,
Just
right.
like all the time. Which, she was in an industry where there was certainly like high risk factors. But anyway, the point that I'm
It
actually
remains a
making-
mystery because she does have some really credible stories.
She does. She was definitely abused. Come on. It's just she was also, my point is that reaction, at least in part, to all of the things that she did suffer and endure, was that, you know, to make all men suffer and for it, you know?
Did she say that?
More or less. I mean, did she say that? Well, you know, in the shit I saw, in the movie, which was written by somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Last thing I have also is that Jay Leno is Jay Leno is addressed his 30-year feud with David Letterman by saying Dave's a quirky guy. He didn't say I fucking stole David Letterman's job,
and that's why he's angry at me.
He didn't say I stole David Letterman's dream job. This guy's such a fucking mega douche. Like, he didn't say, hey, I'm sorry, David. I let my ambition, you know,
it's true. He didn't
cloud
say,
my judgment.
He didn't say I'm sorry.
He said Dave's a quirky guy. Absolutely nobody's going to be quirky about stealing your fucking dream. That's not a quirk, you dickhead. He's so lucky that he had something to fall back on. Because what he fucking did is the kind of shit that goes on in Hollywood all the time. It's the kind of shit that happened to me, where you undercut a dude to go get a fucking job that he didn't deserve and that he didn't even work for. Fuck you, Jay Leno. Fuck you. So I say to that.
Yeah, it's true. He should apologize.
Yeah, fuck you, Jay Leno. Dave's a quirky guy. You try to steal a guy's job and everybody knows it.
Is that the whole quote?
I don't know. I didn't read the whole fucking quote.
Well, see, the thing is that they
I can still be angry.
I know, but they really manipulate people by
They got me.
pulling out the worst thing somebody says and making that the headline.
They got me just now. I wasn't even that upset about it until I read it out loud. After I read it, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. You took his job.
Dale, you can't be manipulated like that.
Yeah, it's easy. You can get me. It's easy. Just make a headline. Especially if I'm on a busy day.
What's the whole thing that he said? Maybe there was an apology in there and you just don't know it because you didn't bother to read it.
Don't criticize me.
Why don't you read it? Is it right there?
Cosmic Urgency, who also has an agency for Cosmic, says that Harrison Ford was already trying to be an actor when he became a carpenter, which is probably true. I'm sure it's true. Did we talk? Okay, let's get on to the Baldoni files.
Did you read the article, bro?
Oh, what do you want me to? Hang on, I gotta do my captcha. We didn't get banned yet. That's the good news. We survive. TikTok. I missed you. All right, what are we doing?
You didn't read the article.
Why?
Well, what is the whole statement?
I mean,
not that I care about.
Yeah, we're gonna go to.
Jay
We're
Leno
gonna
says.
move on. I'll read the article later and correct myself later. I'll do my redactments later. We'll do redactments. Don't worry about it.
I thought it would be very entertaining to discuss all the ways that Baldoni's fans are trying to cope with this weird information.
They're falling apart. They're a
So
shambles.
the reason why they're struggling so much is that they were set up to fail. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so Blake Lively prevailed in getting his. No, wait. Okay. So it was the motions to dismiss.
Baldoni had all of his cases dismissed, but a handful. Some say 4, some say 2, but a handful of cases, and those cases, the judge gave them a roadmap to amending their complaints to see if the judge would then allow those to stand.
So
Right.
as soon as that happened, Brian Friedman went and did a press tour talking about how it's a false victory for Blake Lively and that he is absolutely going to amend these complaints. And you haven't heard the least or the last from them, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had, apparently, and he was lying. But he set all of these content creators up to fail because he said, we will amend the complaint and it'll be submitted. And it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
No, you said yesterday. Like you talked. The way you mentioned it, it sounded as if you were saying that they hadn't filed it. And I was like, we have till midnight. And of course, you were like,
a bunch of people were waiting. So this is the
Yeah.
way. This user on Reddit. The username is poo 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 palt.
poo poo poo. That's the user.
That's just the user. I want to give people credit, but they have ridiculous usernames.
Say it again.
Sometimes.
I wanna
I'm not
hear
going to.
one more time.
This is.
Okay, I'll get it in the editing room.
He said that there were some fun copes that I've seen today. Here's a list. They've said Brian is filing at midnight Pacific time instead. And then that didn't happen. They said that there's a technical glitch so that the amended complaint can't be uploaded. They were like, oh, that must be the reason why we haven't seen
You
it.
can't hit the big red button.
Yeah. That also wasn't true. They said that Brian is playing 4D chess and he has something up his sleeve. that we just don't know about.
Yeah, they love that. They love the idea of that. That's so funny.
They've said that Blake is actually settling with Justin and paying him, which makes no sense.
That's hilarious.
I know. They're like, that's what's really going on, guys. That's why. Because she also wasn't deposed. Yesterday was supposed to be her deposition.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And so they're like, okay, something's up.
Dude.
He didn't amend his complaint.
Stars dodge depositions.
Yeah.
They
I
just
know.
dodge
Apparently her depositions are scheduled for July instead. They've also said that Brian Friedman is appealing instead of doing an amendment. He's appealing the dismissal, which is like, okay, good luck with that, because the judge said you can't. And then they're saying they said, that there are criminal charges against Blake. That's weird. Where did that come from?
Like what could they be dreaming up as far as a criminal charge?
And then somebody else said that Brian Friedman was able to get an extension, which nobody's reported.
No,
on.
they would have reported on.
He
it.
would have said.
Yeah,
so,
he would have been all over. He would have been like on TMZ and everything else, and like up Andy Signor's butt. Instead, he hasn't. Well, we didn't get Andy's exclusive.
Yeah, right.
Statement.
I know. I'm going to get there next, but all of those things that they've come up with in order to cope with this weird happening, and everything except for they didn't have a case. Oh, 4D chess. That's so great.
So hilarious. We got to get. Did you do any TikTok?
Yes.
Okay. Best friend Hugo, what's up? It's been a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. So you wanted me to go. Okay. Breaking news. Popcorn Planet exclusive.
Well, wait. So before we do, we have best friend Hugo, who is one of those guys who might potentially be, or gals, I'm not sure, but who might be.
Oh yeah, ask.
Yeah, because no, he's a Baldoni, or she's a Baldoni fan. My prediction for this is that it'll go to court and all the SH accusations will be dismissed by the jury. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
And Baldoni will lose all the smear charges.
And Baldoni will lose all the smear charges. Do you mean like shed them, or he'll lose,
Yeah,
meaning
like he'll prevail on them, I guess. Or he'll shed them.
Dude, you are living in an altered
Daisy
reality.
Maymom said now people are trying to say that he didn't amend his complaint because Justin Baldoni is too nice. It would have been impolite.
Yeah, I love that. It was like somebody was like, "Oh, the hero Justin Baldoni." Was like Justin chose of his own volition. It was a $400 million lawsuit. He didn't like suddenly wake up and go, "You know what? I feel as if it's time to take the high road."
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I got to clarify this. So best friend Hugo said that the prediction is that when this goes to court, all of her...
sorry, Hugo, if I read wrong.
All of her SH accusations will be dismissed by the jury.
Yeah.
But she will win on the smear charges. So Baldoni will lose on all those. So she'll be like, the jury will say, yes, there was a smear campaign. No, there wasn't harassment.
Yeah, you're probably right. That was Hugo? Yeah, Hugo, you're probably right about that, actually. I think I probably agree with that. I think the SH is really hard to prove in a court. And, you know, that's the thing about that. Well, it'd be interesting to see how their fans react to all that. Because...
Well, they'll just call her a liar and say that she was a liar from the beginning, instead of the fact that... Instead of her telling the truth and having a jury want more evidence of it.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, I think that they'll see... well, yeah. Keep going. I do think that Baldoni is going to... I don't know. The SH might stand because they have another complaint. It'll be interesting because where I was going is that then all the Baldoni fans are going to come screaming about how she lost the SH and therefore there was none. And that's not how that works. And what people don't understand, or what people might get confused with what's going on here, is that SH isn't a criminal act. It's not a crime to commit. SH. That's why it's something that gets handled at the HR level, typically, right? It's when it gets to SA that it becomes a crime, or when it can be litigious, certainly.
I thought that harassment was a crime.
No, harassment, it's a civil crime, potentially. It's got civil
So
civil
if
statutes.
somebody touches you, you can call that assault.
That's assault.
Okay, but just like, you know, dirty words what
That's
suggestive
harassment. That's harassment. Now, harassment
invitations
you
or
can certainly
whatever?
cross the line with harassment, right? Because it can turn into things like stalking. It can turn all these other problems. But typical harassment allegations are handled at the HR level. He's saying inappropriate things in the kitchen. Hey, don't say anything inappropriate in the kitchen. If you do it again, we're going to have to boot you.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story. So what happened wasn't that there was some kind of awful crime committed. What happened was that a complaint was lodged and they didn't do anything about it except retaliate. That's the problem.
That's a problem.
So if he's going to get nailed for the smearing, then that's all that really matters. Hi just said that if you say B-A-N D, that could get you B-A-N D. So it's like that. It's like, come on, what like we're human beings. We're trying to they're trying to encourage us. They're like telling me that I'm supposed to be on live on TikTok competing for prizes and stuff. I don't know what they're talking about, but they say that I should be doing that, and then they're like, you can't, sit it out, weirdos. What do you got?
Okay, so Popcorn Planet
Yeah,
exclusive.
Popcorn Planet. I know this guy.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer speaks out after second amended complaint deadline passes.
Like
Speaks
gas.
out.
Like
What we wanted
gas.
you to do was amend your complaint. Why didn't you speak out to the court? Oh, man. Okay, this is Brian Friedman's statement. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I basically know what it is, so I'm excited
guess.
for the confirmation. That this is all going to play out. The plan that they want is to defend and prove that she has lied in court and exonerate Justin Baldoni for all the lies and the blah blah blah. And he's not interested in, the case they wanted to take got thrown out. This other stuff didn't matter. What really matters now is focusing on the truth. Something like that.
Okay, listen. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Brian Friedman said, the court's decision on the motion to dismiss has no effect whatsoever on the truth, that there was no harassment nor any smear campaign, and it does not in any way affect our vigorous defense against Miss Lively's claims. Discovery is proceeding, and we're confident that we will prevail.
Well, fucking give it up, buddy.
I know. And we are confident that we will prevail against these factually baseless accusations. Instead of revising the existing claims, our clients will be pursuing additional legal options that are available to us.
Like small claims court. It's like, you're talking about you got thrown out. You didn't even get the fuck out of here. Sit it out, buddy.
They would like to challenge them to a tournament of Rochambeau.
I'm a very good backgammon player, and I'm a gambling man.
This person said, that means for now Justin's entire complaint against the other parties is gone.
It's gone.
But Justin and his team never explicitly said that they're dropping all the claims for good, which means that they could still pursue other legal options like an appeal or pushing for a judge's recusal.
This is a stupid thing that somebody wrote?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're so stupid.
They're still
You
moving-
know what's funny? Listen to this. Brian Friedman said in his interview with TMZ that Judge Lyman laid out a roadmap to amend and that they were, of course, going to do it. Let me tell you what happened, as he talks about how discovery is proceeding.
Yeah.
The only side that has provided anything by way of discovery of any substance is on Blake Lively's side. And I believe it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 items and documents and various pieces of evidence that they've already thrown over to the Friedman side of the camp. And that stuff has been reviewed. They've been on a fishing expedition, dude.
And there's no fish.
Yeah, there's no fish, bro. They went through that and they were like, and it's so funny because people were saying, I've heard people talking about how like, oh, that lawyer really, he fucked over. What's his name? Who's the dude who runs the joint?
Oh, Sarowitz?
Steve
Sarowitz?
Steve Sarowitz, right? He's like, oh yeah, that Friedman, he probably like, let me tell you what lawyers don't do. First, let me tell you what they do. They manage your expectations. Lawyers know very well that what they're faced with are variables that are so far out of their control that they can only hope to nudge in certain directions and that or that the evidence will pull decisions in their direction. They don't know what's going to happen, and no lawyer sits down, and especially a lawyer who's at his level, they don't sit you down and say, we're going to win this, or this is a slam dunk, or this is going to be a problem. They might put that out in the world But they don't tell you that when you're sitting in the room with them. No fucking way. What they tell you is the truth every time. Every time. So I feel confident in saying that what Friedman probably said was something to the effect of, well, what you have here right now isn't much. He wouldn't be like really harsh and say you got no case, but he might say this isn't much. I wouldn't be super confident going with just this to trial. But wait, there's discovery. So they built this case around the story told by Heath and Baldoni, incorporating their ideas of what they should be then expecting to see in discovery to support this paranoid version of events by these men.
Yeah.
And then they got 3,000 documents from the plaintiff and had all of his lawyers and interns and fucking all the pre-law guys, whatever. They're all going through all that evidence. And they didn't find anything. They got nothing. They couldn't amend because the roadmap to the amendment insisted on actual fucking proof.
Yeah, no, Judge Lyman was like, okay, all of this is dismissed, but you can bring back those 2 or 4. It's nobody's really sure exactly which, but the last claims, he said, but I don't want to see those without a contract because those are the contract claims. The interference with the contract and the breach of contract claims. He was like, cool, you can refile those with the contract. And I believe that the reason why he didn't amend was because the contract doesn't support his fucking claims. Just like how all the way through his entire lawsuit, none of the claims he was making was supported by any of the other evidence he was showing.
Yeah, that's true. And there's no other corroborating evidence in those texts. There's nothing that's coming from, or in those documents, there's nothing that's coming from either side, not from Sony, not from Sloan, not from anybody that gives them anything that they can pursue legally with any confidence. And that's why Lyman said of the defamation claim that there's literally nothing they could do to amend it to make it worthy of anybody's time at all. And now that's true about their whole case. Yeah. Everything we said, Angela, from the beginning is true. He abandoned it. Everything we said from the beginning was true. Everything. Those for those of us who have been together all this time, they've all heard me say this stuff for literally since the beginning. Since the beginning. I'm gonna go back into my archive. I got some stuff in my archive. I'll pull that shit up. Because it was a meritless thing from the beginning.
Have a like we were right celebratory episode, with like the confetti graphics.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. So you have the Baldoni diehards, and you have like all their, they're far right basically that they appeal to. Those people are going to be marching with their delusions. But I think that there's going to be a good number of people who are going to be I don't like her, but I don't think she's in the wrong here. Like, that's the kind of damage she's really incurred, right? Like, she's that now. She's like that person who you're like, you know what? She still annoys me, and I think she's totally full of shit, okay? And I think she's insincere, okay? But I don't know. She probably didn't do any of this. But I don't like her. She's still a bitch.
There's still people that think that she's a liar and that she wanted to take over the movie and that she tried to screw him out of the property. Like, people are still believing that.
Yeah.
Even though he can't make those claims anymore in court. Delicate said, he's so nice, he wants to bury her.
Exactly.
I don't know, the voice memo and showing the water birth is enough for SH alone. A dirty joke is SH, even when it's not directed at you. You can overhear something, and that is SH. Bottom line, if somebody is offended or made to feel uncomfortable, it's a credible claim.
Yep.
I swear to God, people need HR training like yesterday.
Well, it's true. It's a credible claim. And it doesn't mean that it's like some kind of terrible offense. Like, that's the other thing that people have to, it's just like, just because somebody says, hey, this is harassment or this made me feel uncomfortable. It's not even that they go in and they lodge a complaint of harassment. Well, you might categorically call it that. It's a workplace concern. It's all it is. This
is a really good point. If she wasn't told what it entailed, and if they didn't ask for her consent to show her a video of his nude wife, it's 100% inappropriate, and it's SH.
Correct. And by the way, it's like of the worst kind, really.
Yeah, Delicate said in his voice note, I want all of you.
Yeah, that's
creepy and uncomfortable.
Creepy and uncomfortable.
That's her boss.
Yeah, it's her boss, dude. Absolutely. And look, the bottom line is that you should feel really comfortable with just saying, hey, look, that's not cool. Can we not do that? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, because he might like whatever. I mean, he might not have intentions that are bad. He might be, he just might be shrouded in, because I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes that aren't, where I probably said things around people that people were uncomfortable with. I mean, I had to have. I've got a potty mouth. So I just feel like it's guaranteed that it's happened. So, but if somebody actually filed a complaint, I've never heard of a complaint has never been brought to me about anything I've said in the workplace. But if one came to me, it wouldn't be some kind of like indictment on my personality just because it happened. It would be that I was insensitive to a moment and that I need to be more sensitive to these moments going forward, because not everybody is, friends in my living room.
Yeah, that's right. But all these people are friends in your living room.
You guys are all friends in my living room. You're actually in you're my writing space and my editing space, actually. This is my workspace where I work. It's where I put on Taylor Swift and cry.
Which is an important way to get through the day of
Dude,
work.
Yeah, that's how I write, bro. There was, when I was writing the book, I was like, I should like film it. Like not broadcast it, but film it. But I would have like breakdowns, and I was like, I probably would not even behave naturally if I thought the camera was on me the whole time. You know what I mean? Like it would just interfere with what was channeling through me in terms of emotions.
Yeah, you'd have to get used to it.
But if you guys saw that footage, you'd be like, oh my God, Dale's kind of crazy. Because I would just like sob. Just stop writing and just sob. It's kind of a weird memory, really.
Okay. The next item I have for you.
Yes, please bring it.
Is that Leonardo DiCaprio was mentioned.
Well,
not his last name.
Oh my God.
What?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Say it again. I forgot all about this. This is so nuts.
Okay, so today in the Diddy trial.
It's the last day, I believe. Did the prosecution rest today? They may have rested today. If they're not, they're going to definitely rest by tomorrow. And then the defense is saying they're going to need a day.
No. The prosecution rested today.
Right.
The defense called no witnesses, and they rested.
They did?
I think so. I mean, here's the thing. Is like I'm just like reading live tweets. So it could be that I am getting it wrong or something, that I'm interpreting it wrong. But I think they're all done. See, the thing is that they tell you that the prosecution and the defense tells the judge and tells the court what they're going to be doing before they do it. So sometimes the reporting is that they're planning to do a thing. And I don't know whether that means they've done the thing or not, because it just kind of gets lost in translation.
Okay, well, anyway, so I took you off the rails anyway.
But I think Thursday and Friday is when they're expecting closing arguments. I think they're all done making their case. But today, we saw text messages where Diddy was talking to his girlfriend, who is going by the pseudonym, his ex-girlfriend is going by the pseudonym Jane, I think.
I always pick Jane. Like, if you're Jane, you got to be like, can you just leave it alone?
Here is the text.
Like, Betty would be a good one. No one's called Betty anymore.
Okay, here's the context. The defense attorney is a Garagos. So I don't know if it's any relation to Mark Garagos. Maybe. Are you with me?
Yeah, somebody said you're spot on.
You're squinting at your screen, so I can't tell if
Yeah, I was trying to get the name who was complimenting you. But forget it. I'll just move on. Go ahead.
Let's see. Okay. Combs and Jane. Please read Mr. Combs' message and the witness, who is like a federal agent, I think. I've been having crazy fantasies about Leo, you and Leo. And that is Sean Diddy Combs telling his girlfriend, I've been having crazy fantasies about you and Leo. He's trying to set her up for like, I don't know if it's like a threesome or he just wants to set her up with Leo or whatever.
You have to be careful what you say.
I know. Here's the thing about covering this trial on this app. Today, the jury had to wear headphones. Each one of them had to put on headphones and have their own little private screen because
it was like earmuffs?
Because they had to watch pornographic videos
of them
all day today.
Oh my God.
And the court, the spectators and everybody else wasn't supposed to see it. It was just for the jury's eyes.
Oh my
And there was a problem because a few of the juries, like, their screens weren't working, and so they had to make sure that they could like fix the screen so they could watch these like pornographic videos.
Oh my God. With the defendant sitting right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's a super weird trial.
That's
so what I'm saying is it's
shocking.
impossible to cover any of this stuff. There's been a lot of things that I've been wanting to talk about
No, I
on the
know.
live, but like I literally can't. There's no way to.
The Leo text, I think it confirms one thing, and then it begs and offers up a very intriguing possibility in another. But the one thing it confirms is that Leo is a honeypot to this guy.
I think he's a honeypot. I think that that's what it is.
He's sitting there trying to like bring Leo in to entice these women into compromising situations.
I think you're right.
And
He's like the big prize that never gets paid.
and he drops the Leonardo. Who's the number one guest on that list? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, because he wants women to come to his. He wants models who have a chance with him, right? 19, 20-year-old models to come to his party.
And they will come in droves. Toby did the same thing with Leo. He did the exact same thing with his poker game. He was honeypotting Leo, and Scott Bloom honeypotted Leo. Scott Bloom ran a nightclub and then brought Leo in. And in fact, he got Leo to come and do this nightclub. So he rented a floor out, did Scott, and he turned this turned it into a party, a private party. And he just made he was making ridiculous money. Like he was printing money with some kind of stupid amount of money. And Scott ended up closing $100 million production deal from some big shot who was just there to hang out with Leo. People just honeypot on that motherfucker, and he comes after me for making a little independent movie. He destroys me over making a little independent movie, and he's getting honeypotted by Diddy and Toby and Scott. And you know what else he did? Which was practically embarrassing for me, from my perspective. Leo's got this prestigious career, and then what does David Blaine do? Gets him to host an ABC fucking magic special.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio hosting a magic special on fucking ABC at the height of his career. That's some honeypot shit. Anyway, I'm getting offended because it's like, motherfucker ruined my life, and these people are just dipping in that cookie jar like it's all theirs.
I'm trying to find this. Okay, this is from a different article. Those text messages which came up in the trial name dropped DiCaprio in a story. Do you want to hear the story?
Yes.
Okay, over text message. Love you too, and the only things to remember are the good times, and those are the only memories I have. Ha ha ha. Like freaking hysterical ones. I send you. There's a lot of redacted. This is Men's Journal, so for some reason they didn't include expletives and stuff.
Well, because they appeal to people under 12.
I could keep searching for a different one, but I'm not going to bother. Okay. Like hysterical ones, I'll send you everything I've got. I remember even before you had videographers with us, I carried around the little iVid thing. I found those too. Completely forgot about them. The text message read, according to Fox News. So many magical, hilarious things like drinking 1942 on the Parrot Cay beach and champagne under the Eiffel Tower at 4 a.m. in the dark, and singing with Jimmy at Interscope, and Mick Jagger trying to take me home, but I ran away, and Ibiza caves where I got a 7-inch scar, and Hawaii 5-0 when you punched that expletive for talking expletive to me, and launching Revolt, and that random underground Baccarat game where J-Lo wouldn't pay out, and I stayed only, and you won $650,000. And that little prick ran away from me, and Leo DiCaprio, and Leo grabbed my pink bedazzled BlackBerry, and you said, that Titanic mother expletive doesn't know anything. He won $10K, I won $650K, ha ha ha. Gosh, there are trillions of stories like that that are amazing.
There's nothing to that.
There's nothing to that, but that was the only other time that his name was dropped, and then today he's trying to set up his ex-girlfriend on a date with him.
Can you scooch over just a little bit?
Yes.
This way.
This way?
Yep. This way. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. That's
Anywho.
Crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Wow. I mean, so the other thing so the first thing that it implies is that he's a honeypot, but the second thing it implies is that that's happened.
Well, also, the reason why I read that one to you is that he's really bad at gambling. So he's constantly being brought onto the gambling table because he brings people who want to hobnob with celebrities, but he also loses his money. Or he doesn't win money. So he's laughing at him for not being able to play these games well enough to actually win.
I think what's established, in my opinion, is that they were friends.
Yes.
That's the company he kept. It's that simple. That's the company he kept.
Well, even if they weren't friends, do you think that he wouldn't name drop him like that when he wants to use his celebrity?
Friends. Do you know what I mean?
I understand. Friends. I'm saying, even if they weren't, he might still name drop him like that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Do you think
he wasn't named himself, right? P. Diddy. It's not like he had to drop names. He was just using people for the right, You know
I'm
what I mean?
having fantasies about you and Leo. Like, what the fuck, fucking pervert? What are you doing?
First of all, you want to watch Leo, so he was into Leo.
Who knows, man? Maybe he just wanted to set him up for some, what is that called? Like social currency, you know, where he'd be like, "Hey, man, I gave you a date, so now you owe me."
I hope you guys will like the live, and I am listening. I just got to take care of some housekeeping. Guys, like the live if you can over on YouTube. TikTok is killing it. We're at almost 20,000 likes, Angela.
Sweet.
They missed us.
I missed them
Or
too.
we just missed them, and they were like, you missed us, and we're going to prove it with all these likes. I've never met Diddy. No Leo Edits is asking if I ever met Diddy. I did not. I am grateful that I did not meet Diddy. The only rapper I met in the 90s was Coolio.
Was he cool? Yeah.
He kind of scared me, actually. I'm normally not very intimidated by people, but he came with his whole like entourage.
Yeah.
Well, we shot a music video with him, and he showed up with his entourage. We shot it at the Chuck Berry mansion that I cut the movie in, and he just showed up with all these dudes, and I was just wildly intimidated. First of all, I could not understand them, like I could not.
That's tough.
I was just not in this. Like I couldn't decipher. And then on top of that, it was like I felt very much like they didn't like me very much. Like I was like, you don't want me around. You don't.
I'll just be over here.
I'm Mr. Coolio? Okay, never mind, Mr. Coolio. I'll be over here having a Coolio drink. Okay, never mind.
Okay, and the last item I have for you today. Well, I have another one too, but it's kind of sad. So I'll just tell you this one.
Yeah.
So Karen Reed's attorney, Alan Jackson,
Okay.
has made a new statement in which he blasts the prosecutor.
Let's hear this. I've not heard any of this. This is brand new for me.
Let's see if I can find some context for you. Okay, so Brennan said on Monday, he made a public statement that said that there was a campaign of intimidation and abuse. The prosecutor has said this.
Okay.
That Karen Reed's attorneys were involved in some sort of
Intimidation and
misconduct.
Abuse. Yeah.
Okay. So this is Alan
They got
Jackson's.
some fucking nerve, bro.
I know.
You lost 2 trials.
You screwed up your case. And
2 trials. You had 2 shots.
I know.
That's how bad your fucking prosecution was.
I'm gonna take a drink first. So you don't have to like hear my mouth when I'm reading.
Yeah, mac and cheese and.
Okay. Jackson's full statement. Do you want to hear it?
Please.
The jury has spoken, but Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, in an egregious breach of prosecutorial ethics, has tried to publicly shame and discredit that very jury. For him to attempt to supplant his personal views for that of the jury is a desperate attempt to save face in the wake of a unanimous rejection of the prosecution's case. Because apparently he was saying, like, the jury decided it because of this other reason. Not that she's innocent. They just, you know? The rules of professional conduct are clear. A prosecutor should support the legitimacy of the justice system and promote public confidence in its operations. Openly attacking a jury's verdict because he disagrees with it undermines that centuries-old edict. Mr. Brennan claims that his investigation was thorough, in quotes. If that were true, the Commonwealth would have uncovered what we, the defense, uncovered: hidden exculpatory evidence, lies and perjury by the Commonwealth's own witnesses, cops covering for other cops, a biased and corrupt lead investigator with personal ties to witnesses, and inculpatory and suspicious conduct by myriad witnesses. The only job of an ethical prosecutor is to seek the truth in a just and fair manner. The Commonwealth fell wildly short of that responsibility. Theirs was not an effort to find justice for John O'Keefe. Rather, it was a personal vendetta against Karen Reed by DA Michael Morrissey and his hand-picked prosecutors, and it cost the people of Norfolk County millions. The fact is, Karen Reed is factually innocent, and this case never should have gone to trial in the first place. This case is a stark reminder that there has been a complete breakdown in what is supposed to be our justice system. Those in power are more interested in protecting themselves than the citizens that they are sworn to protect. The Commonwealth's defamatory public comments ring hollow to the very constituents they are supposed to serve. It is now crystal clear that disgraced DA Michael Morrissey has no interest in actually seeking justice for John O'Keefe by identifying and prosecuting the real killer or killers. The Commonwealth would rather simply condemn the jury and its fair and lawful verdict. We are thankful for the jury's commitment to the truth and that they found their way to a just verdict. But make no mistake, if DA Michael Morrissey had his way, the truth would never have come out in this case. It would have been lost somewhere in private and deleted conversations that would have never seen the light of day. Corruption like this doesn't happen in isolation. How many innocent people have been railroaded because of failures in our judicial system? We, as citizens, must demand more of our institutions.
I pray that message has been heard and felt at the FBI. You know, well, first of all, he is claiming in this statement that they have exculpatory evidence, and then present it. Like the judge, it doesn't have to get to a judge if it's going to the FBI. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and that's the Commonwealth, not the federal, and not the Fed. And the Commonwealth already rejected a defense witness for a dog as a dog bite expert when that witness was in a previous federal trial accepted. It's just a different ballgame altogether. And they should I pray. I mean, if Jackson's got the goods, man, he's got to put him out there. Great statement. The guy's exemplary in every way.
He's a defense attorney. What's he supposed to do? He's not gonna go.
What do you mean? They do it all the time. They present it to. They present the evidence to. Well, look, the FBI is already involved.
Right.
The FBI is involved. They already have a line to the FBI because that's how they got their witness. They got their witness from the FBI. I have a short on our Shorts channel that talks about that. You know? Mm-hmm. Go check it out. Funk Soul Brother.
Is there a mosquito in here?
There is. He's this mosquito has been feasting on me.
What?
Yeah. It was so heavy and I grabbed it. Angela,
what do you mean you grabbed a mosquito?
Out of midair. You know how I do. I grabbed him. I went like this and I had him in my hand and I went like this and everything. And then I let it go and he fell onto the table and I was like, and I got like my little grin. I was like, huh. And then he he flew away. I crunched him in my hand, dropped him on my desk. He fell on my desk because you know how
they're like little demons. They're not even real. Have you ever tried to track a mosquito so that you can swat it in midair and it just disappears?
No, it goes in total stealth.
It puts on his cloaking device.
Non-human intelligence.
It's horrible.
Non-fucking human intelligence.
Well, of course it's non-human.
I crunched it up. I dated a girl who sadly suffered from several disorders that I didn't even know about at the time of like dating her. And I would have dated her anyway. She was cute as hell. But she had paranoid schizophrenia and bipolar. And there was this fly in her house and she was watching it like in a way that like made me go, "Oh, are you going to be all right?" And then she confessed that the fly was a device, which by the way, so she confesses this fly is a device. So she
said that she thought she was like being surveilled, that it was like a drone or something,
yes.
Not a fly?
Yes. But check this out.
That's
so
rough.
China has just unveiled a monitoring device that's the size of a fly.
Oh, so who's laughing now?
And it flies.
This whole time everybody thought she was.
And it's exactly. Well, the first thing I thought about is like, so China does it. You know, people who suffer from disorders like that, they hear the news that there's like insects that are now monitoring devices. Forget about it. It's just like
that's terrible.
It's like inflicting a wound on them.
Did you ever see that video? There's been so many wonderful people who are like willing to share their experiences with schizophrenia. And there's this video of a guy he's got his phone out and he's making a little video of his dog sitting in front of him.
Right.
And he was like, "Okay, this is how I know that there's not a person here." He was like, if there's a person here, I can look at my dog and my dog will be like, "Yeah, there's a dude right in front of you." But if there's not a person here, I look at my dog and I ask my dog and he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
That's why pets are so scary. Because
so he's like hallucinating that there's a person here who's like got his hand out to shake hands with him or something, is what he says in the video. And he's like, "I am suspicious that this is not happening, so I asked my dog."
Is it a support dog?
Yes.
Oh, it's just brilliant.
Isn't that great? It's just his little dog is just like in the video. He's just sitting there like looking at the guy like, "What's up?"
The only problem with that is that dogs will see shit we don't. If that corresponds with the moment that he's seeing something.
I know, like I've had dogs in my house that are just like staring at a corner, and I'm like, "What, bro?"
Yes, they make the hair stand up on your arms, man. Fuck, we've seen dogs where ears go down and be like, "What?" We live in a house that was built in the 30s,
yeah,
dude.
I know. There's like stains on the floor. I'm like, was that a body?
Right. Anything could have happened in here.
Cosmic Urgency said, "That's how you guys are about germs." I think he's making fun of us.
Dude, you can make fun of me, but you know what I don't get is sick.
That's right.
Mofo. I don't get sick.
Yeah, germs actually do harm you.
They do. Yeah, they kill you, actually. They'll
Especially viruses. Like, there's literally no benefit ever to anybody to catch a virus, ever. Like, you're supposed to avoid them all the time.
They will turn your guts into liquid.
Oh, viruses?
Sure, they can. Viruses or bacteria. Microbial enemies, bro.
Oh, there was just a study in 2022. They determined that Epstein-Barr virus,
right,
which is the virus that causes mononucleosis,
yeah,
which is like the kissing disease.
Yeah,
and everybody's dismissed for like generations as like, oh, you get it, it's like a rite of passage, whatever. It's
right.
You're fine. Well, you're not fine.
Look who got mono.
I know. They determined that it's actually a predictor of multiple sclerosis and some types of cancer. Viruses are never good. So yeah, if you're talking about that's how we are, you're making fun of us about that's how you guys are about germs. That's how we are about viruses, because that's how everybody that knows about viruses is about viruses.
Well said. Do you want to check out the comments over on TikTok where we have 23,000 likes? Holy shit, that's like old school. Thank you guys so much for all your kindness tonight, and especially on that earlier part. I'm sorry I had such a rough start. I was emotionally off the rails, and I broke my mic. I got a new mic thingamajobber coming.
That'll be here soon.
Oh, I can't wait. This thing is just so beat. And these double spring dealios, it's no good. It's no good.
Leo Edit says, I too have had fantasies about Leo. I hate that we have that in common. Leo Edits and Diddy have that in common. That's so great.
It must be so weird to be like a sex symbol. Like Pedro's a sex symbol now.
It has got to be the weirdest thing.
Especially if you're self-loathing. Now Leo was never self-loathing, but Pedro might have been. I don't know if he's self-loathing, but he is definitely not like a vain, arrogant guy, even though he's absolutely beautiful.
Leo Edits is asking, do you think Leo maybe was working with the feds to help bring down Diddy secretly?
No. Not unless it was to cover his own ass.
And then about the Karen Reed trial, Glorious Coco is asking, I haven't seen you here before. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
What evidence did the FBI have? What evidence did the FBI witness have?
What evidence did the FBI and the FBI witness have? Whoa, you're talking about the Karen Reed trial. Well, the FBI brought ARCA.
Yeah, that's what Crazy GMA said. They're the agency that hired ARCA, who proved John O'Keefe did not get hit by a car. Glorious Coco said yes, but who was the witness that the FBI had? Was it ARCA? Was it Officer Deaver? I don't think Officer Deaver was working with the FBI. She was too indignant.
No, I'm not talking about an officer. I'm saying that they created a witness with...
Created a witness? What do you mean?
With ARCA.
Oh.
The FBI, engaged ARCA, and ARCA created a witness for the defense. But that makes them involved. The FBI isn't getting a test done, getting these tests done because they want to help Karen Reed or help the Commonwealth. They're investigating a potential killing cop situation. That's why that's there 100%. The only reason why the feds would get involved is if police officers are pew-pewing each other. And if they're doing that, then that has to be a federal intervention. There's no one to oversee that.
Mandy said, I'm honestly so happy about the Karen Reed trial verdict. Let that woman finally have peace. Hot take. Why the heck couldn't the jury just let her go unscathed? The DUI verdict made me eye roll. I don't know either. I thought that the defense's decision to add the DUI was to placate somebody who thought that she should be at fault for something. Sometimes if you build if you're trying to get everybody to cross the same bridge, sometimes it helps if you meet them halfway. I think that they were like, okay, if somebody goes into that jury deliberation and they think she's guilty, can they be persuaded all the way to innocence, or can they be persuaded that she's responsible for some bad act? So I think that was kind of like a freebie.
That's it exactly, for sure. They gave the jury the opportunity to end this. And so that means that
so it wasn't a hung jury, yeah.
If it meant that they needed a charge on there to appease a juror. There was a juror number 12.
Yeah.
So juror number 12 came out, and she had no previous knowledge of the case, wildly, and so especially being from the area is wild. But nonetheless, she claimed had no previous, and she was leaning toward guilty.
When she went to deliberate.
Which
is so weird
Wild.
because, how did you see the same trial that we did? She saw even more than we did. We saw, the judge talking to the lawyers outside of the jury's presence. But she, sat through everything we did.
She came into the trial believing in guilt.
No, came into deliberations.
No. Into the trial. She said she came into the trial at the very beginning.
Oh, when she first heard opening statements.
The scenario. She was like, oh yeah, damage to the car. We got ourselves a situation.
Yeah.
So she was already leaning toward guilt. So I think that she had that going in. And with that, she was able to, her bias, there was a bias there toward, I don't know how you could watch that trial for 30 minutes and not fucking see the ridiculousness of it, unless they're in a sidebar.
I don't know either.
Yeah, Dr. Susan says it was smart to offer a concession of an OUI. I think so too. I was actually questioning it the whole time because I was confused by it. I didn't realize, I'd heard that there was the DUI option, and then I heard no, they've got to actually convict her of a higher charge in order to be able to tick that box. And then that was what was confusing for me. Turns out all that was wrong, and that they were obviously able to give her just the OUI. And so it makes sense that they did. Or it makes sense that they would want it on the ballot or on the verdict sheet as an option to get this thing closed and done and over with. Fucking 3 years.
Good thing, man. Now the county doesn't have to spend any more money on this bullshit, and Karen Reed can go and start her life, which I'm sure she has to start over because, Jesus, how it must have consumed everything.
I don't, she's a celebrity now, so she's figuring out what that's going to be, because that's what she's doing with her life right now for sure. She's got offers.
I think it's
everything.
Weird that she didn't just start on a press tour, but maybe they would have thought that was insensitive, or I don't know. Hopefully somebody's planning the strategy now with her. Well, instead of her just being able to fade into obscurity, unless that's what she wants.
Well, she's being sued, so she might be refraining from making any further statements beyond that. She's in a civil litigation.
Are you sure she's being sued?
Well, there's they came out with a statement saying that they thought that the DUI was helpful in their civil suit. Yes, Karen Reed is still facing a wrongful death civil suit filed by the family of John O'Keefe, despite her acquittal in the criminal case. The civil suit filed by John O'Keefe's family alleges that Karen Reed's actions led to his death and seeks damages.
So that's pending now?
Karen Reed civil suit.
This poor lady. That sucks.
Let's see who's repping her on that one.
It's her whole life is her as a defendant. It sucks.
Well, anyway, yeah, she's got to go through the civil litigation, which is just, she's got to go through a whole new set of depositions. She's going to have to go through everything again. So she's going to relive this trial one more time.
Do you remember that documentary Paradise Lost?
I loved it.
So the three dudes who were wrongfully accused of the deaths of those little boys in West Memphis.
Yes.
They are currently the only ones who are trying very hard to get DNA tested.
Yeah.
Because the technology wasn't available at the time. But they're the only ones who are actually trying to catch the killers. And they're the ones who were falsely accused of the crime. And I just feel like it's just so weird that this keeps repeating itself. This concept that the defendant is the only one. So Karen Reed gets acquitted. She can go on with her life. And in her first statement, she's like, we're still seeking justice. Like, they want to find who did it. It just sucks that there's always these defendants who got totally like railroaded, and they're the only ones that are carrying the torch for the victims' families, you know?
Totally.
Super sad.
It is super sad. Alyssa says that Leo's exactly the type that Diddy liked. Young, blonde, and cute. That's just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to share my opinion about whether he was, like, abused by Diddy. The whole thing is just so
He was
grim.
not abused by Diddy.
Who knows, man?
I'm gonna guess with confidence.
That whole story is so grim. It was just so weird to, like, every time I would check in on that case, it was just like an opening up like open the door and you're like, oh, House of Horrors, and you shut it real quick. It's like
Seriously,
constantly,
dude,
bro.
what a nasty.
Like, just throw him in the jail.
I wonder what's gonna happen, because like that's pretty confident of the defense. It's not like they lack in money. So
they
they're
brought
highly
no
confident,
witnesses.
no witnesses, and you know there's a certain. I mean, so there. I did read several times that these witnesses got battered in Cross.
Yeah.
Like,
so they're
beaten.
happy with what they did.
And there was like a lot of like, because there's a lot of questionable texts. There's a lot of texts that are saying things like, you know, I loved it. It was hot. You're hot. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but in these sentiments. And so, with that, maybe they just feel like, you know, most of these witnesses, enough of these witnesses create enough doubt. Again, it's a matter of creating doubt.
Yeah, I think that, so he's not being charged with kidnapping and human trafficking, right?
Yeah, among others. He's
And
got
so
a bunch of RICO stuff, right?
Are they trying to prove, is the defense trying to prove that these people wanted to travel and that's why it's not human trafficking? Like,
no, as soon as that's not how it works. The way human trafficking can work is like if somebody is traveling with you and they don't want to participate in what you're participating in, or they're like a minor. This is in the Matt Gaetz case, for example, but they're totally cool with it. Like they're consensual, but they're technically a minor. He's automatically, that's trafficking, even if they're going on their own will.
I also think that you're not allowed to like just travel with somebody for the purposes of prostitution.
Right. I learned exactly that. I learned that if you order a John, or if a John orders an escort from another state and flies that escort in to see him, he's creating a trafficking situation.
And how did you learn that?
Just covering some bases for a friend. No, I read that in a charge that happened. I was like, oh no shit, because that's interesting, because that's like that's if I was a frequenter of such services, that's a mistake I would easily make over and over again.
Oh yeah, you're like, I want to bring the girlfriend experience that I like in LA to Vegas.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
you
let's
can't
go to Vegas, and that is technically trafficking.
Weird.
So that person, it's so interesting because you create the vulnerability as somebody who might be a celebrity or somebody who might have the kind of money that would change people's minds about the nature of their agreement with you in a hurry. If you leave those vulnerabilities open, you create the opportunity to end up in a situation where you're defending yourself. We talked a little bit about this with Tyler Perry. When you look at Tyler Perry's case superficially at this point, there's doubt. There's immediate doubt as to whether or not this guy's is indeed getting shaken down by this former employee. There's some doubt about it. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's real. We'll find out eventually, hopefully.
Right.
But in any case, there's some doubt about it. So, you know, it just seems like that's an incredibly vulnerable position, which might play into Diddy's favor, because if in the closing arguments, their attorney's like, hey, listen, this guy's jet setting all over the place. He's good, and people are traveling with him. And how is he supposed to know that they're not feeling like it's a consensual thing if they're not saying so?
Yeah, or like what? He's not supposed to travel with his date?
Yeah, he's a jet setting billionaire. He's going to do that. They don't sit in one spot, and they bring their girls and their whatever.
I don't think he's a billionaire.
Whatever it is, man.
I think it's an M and not a B.
He got money.
Mm-hmm.
He's got planes, right? But he's got no game. Shit, Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Oh, good night, Mandy.
Good night, Mandy.
Mandy said, buenos noches.
You're the best. Thank you. Sleep well. Can't wait to see you again. Thank you for coming tonight. You were so fucking fun. As always. Jessica, is everybody involved in Don's Plum apologized? What is this? If everyone involved in Don's Plum apologized, do you think you could be friends with any of them? I don't know. I think I could forgive them because I want my wounds to heal, and I believe in forgiveness to heal my wounds, or as a healer of all wounds, really. Can't forgive someone who won't admit to their wrongs, though. Who doesn't take responsibility. If there was some justice, I could forgive anybody for almost anything.
It's true. I think a lot of people just like skip over the accountability part and expect forgiveness to happen.
I can't forgive somebody in denial of what they've done to me.
They have to take accountability for what they did.
So the apology wouldn't be as simple as like, "Hey, I'm sorry that this happened." The apology would have to be for me to know that they understand the scope of damage.
Yeah, that's why "I'm sorry you feel that way" isn't an apology, because they're not taking responsibility for what they did.
There are days when the ache of what happened to me is so profound because all I ever wanted to be was a filmmaker. All I ever wanted to be was an entertainer. My whole entire life, it was all I ever wanted to be. And when that got yanked away from me and I had no idea how to recover, and I take responsibility for that. Like, I didn't know how to recover. I didn't. I fell apart at the wheel. I really just fucking didn't know what to do. And it was kind of like when I was driving Pedro to the airport after his mom passed, I didn't know what to say. Yeah, and after my life was completely destroyed, I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. It took me years just to figure out where the pieces were. Years and years. I did not know the depth and breadth of the damage that they had caused for years. Years it took me to figure it out. And I also went through many, many of those years fooling myself into believing that there was hope, that there was like a chance that they would come around, that they would say something. One person would say something to another, and there would be a realization of the fucking horror that they've caused. Because it's a horror. What they caused was a horror. They stole our dreams. They stole them. And all the money of our accomplishments. Do you know? All the means. And like people are like, "Oh, money, oh, you want money?" I want means. That's all we need to get to the next level. We need a means to an end here.
It's also like, it's money you earned. Why shouldn't you have it?
Of course.
Alyssa left us.
Alyssa, goodbye.
Alyssa said that she had to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow for rounds.
You guys are amazing what you do.
Warriors, bro.
Yeah, for real.
They do not get enough credit.
I agree completely.
Healthcare workers, man.
Got anything else, Angela?
I did, but I think I'm going to save it because my butt is numb in this chair, and I was wondering if maybe we should just call it a night.
We had a great night.
I had a great night. I'm sorry that I made you sad by reading an article about an old friend, but I think it comes from a place of caring, and so I don't really feel that bad for you. I think that you just had to express it.
Yeah, don't feel bad because I loved the article. I love Pedro. I'm so happy and excited for him. I wish that I could celebrate his life in a way that felt more, first of all, a little more involved. I spent years with this guy. I would have loved to have had some proximity to this moment that I had anticipated since 1995. Since the day I laid eyes on this kid, I believed he was going to be a big, giant, fucking superstar. And I feel like I missed out, I feel like I got to miss out on my part of whatever that was supposed to be. And I know that sounds probably a little selfish, but it's a part of the sort of the black hole of what Don's Plum caused. And I suppose that's why it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had other people that I've known, like Brian Klugman is the T-Mobile guy, and people might think, "Oh, that's not so great." He's making millions of dollars, like literally millions of dollars. I'm so happy for him. I don't have any, like, there's no emotional tension in that at all. You know what I mean? Not there's emotional tension with Pedro, but there's a certain amount of like I said, I wrote a movie with him as the guy. I wanted, Artie and I cast him, as soon as we saw the short, it was like, he's Roman, that's it. For this movie called Roman and Leela. A really cool little ditty that I hope one day to make for you guys.
You can't use that word anymore.
It's, oh yeah.
He's spoiled it
forever. Oh man, why do people steal words, bro?
I know.
Pretty soon we're going to be like, hi, bye, and that's it.
Oh, Glorious Coco is signing off. Glorious Coco, good night.
Glorious Coco, good night. We had such a good time with you. Please come back. We managed not to get banned.
Yeah. Another day. We live.
Well,
We survived it.
YouTube, thank you so much. All you guys on YouTube, thank you so much. You guys are so fucking wonderful. Thank you for going on this journey with me. I don't know where we're headed, but I think we're headed to a place that's going to be fun and creative. And, maybe we're going to learn a little along the way and do some shit or whatever, or maybe not. Who cares? Just, eat French fries, but skip the burgers. And everybody on TikTok, so glad to be back. We'll see you again tomorrow, you guys. You're lovely.